Welcome back to another video, guys. We are here at my garage. We're not at Yuki's. As you can see, this garage is still under construction. It's supposed to be expanding out to the back of me so we can fit two cars like lengthwise. So this car is finally inspected. It's finally registered. Runs great. Drove it the last couple days on the road. Perfect. So we did a great job on it. Today is actually December 7th, 2024. We're supposed to be doing the Nutcracker Bash event, whatever it's called, at Lock City today at Thompson, and this car was supposed to be drifting and pretty much, doing our first C-Class event. Unfortunately, it kind of snowed a little bit. They got more snow than I did. I think they got like 4 or 5 inches, and then they got ice on top of that. So they don't clear out the actual track with shovels or trucks and stuff like that. So they're kind of waiting for it to melt. So they postponed the event for next week. So that gives me more time to work on this car. So we were originally supposed to grab this car and kind of drift up a VSD. I put thicker fluid in it just to make it lock up better. But since I now have the chance to weld this diff, that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be taking on this diff. But there's also a lot of stuff that I haven't shared with you guys for the last couple of days because I've been rushing to get this thing done. I had to get this thing bolt checked. I had to make sure that everything was tight and it was good to go. The other things that I disabled all the assists on this car, the ABS, the traction control, the stability control. To do the ABS, you're just gonna go to the battery compartment over here in your Z, take off the cover, take off this fuse cover right here, and once you got that off, there's this fuse right here, this pink one, and you're gonna snip the two 30s right here. Don't do that one because that's for your starter, so then your car won't start. So So cut those. Just be careful. That disables your ABS module. Didn't get no ABS. On this car is the base. It's not the base model. So I have the Touring, and for the performance model, I believe it's the same thing. But I have a yaw sensor, which is a stability control. If you have a base model, I don't really know what the way to do it is. Maybe you don't have to do it over there on a base model, but on this car, behind the actual shifter, there's a yaw sensor, and that yaw sensor is underneath that center console. It's super easy to take out. Literally, it just clips in like 4 screws. You can look it up online. The 2 screws are behind both of the seats, and then there's 2 more where the radio is. Just take out the radio. You don't even need any tools to take out the radio. It's all clips. The other thing is I had to unplug pin 101, and by unplug I mean cut, because I can't really unplug it. It's really hard to take out the pin on the ECU. So on your passenger side where your ECU is, there's a cover right here, and it's underneath the ECU, kind of the actual plug for the ECU itself, and you take that lever off, take off the cover, and there's a blue and orange striped wire that you're gonna cut, and I can show you guys a photo of what it looks like right now. So basically cut that, make sure it's got enough length so you can solder it back on. So if you ever want to put it back on, it basically lets you do burnouts. Do whatever you want. I think if you don't cut it, and let's say you're tandeming or you bump into something like a tire, it puts your car into like limp mode, like it starts idling mid drift basically. So you don't want that to happen, so you cut that. The other thing is, I was basically packing the other day. I was going crazy. Car's full to the brim with tools, ramps, jacks, you name it. So I gotta take that stuff out. Other thing is, I didn't show you guys, but I swapped out the tack on this car. It looks exactly the same, but the other one had like 107,000 on it. This new one has like 147K. Only reason why I had to do that was because the other one's like bugging out. So like I would drive it, and then like the speedometer would all of a sudden like shut off, or the tack itself, like the numbers would start disappearing. So it would say like 106,000, and then you look at it for the next second, and it would say like 10,000 miles. So, I'll take it. 10,000 miles E. But that's pretty much what I've been doing so far. I gotta change the oil sensor. The oil sensor is like freaking out now, so whenever you turn on the car, it says I got 100 psi of oil. That needs to be swapped out, so just bought one on Amazon. That's probably the cheapest you can get it on. Nissan doesn't make it anymore, so Amazon, I think it's like 20 bucks you can get it on. So get it on Amazon, swap that out. It's a super common issue on the Z. So we're gonna move this car forward. We're gonna take all this stuff out, jack this thing up, and take off this diff. I'll show you guys how to do it. It's super super simple. It's literally probably like 12 bolts. So let's get to it. I'll show you guys how you do that, and come Monday we're gonna have to weld this diff and put it back on. So let's get to it. Luckily though, I literally only need the tools back here, because that's all I really need to kind of take out the diff on this thing and lift up the car and whatnot. So I also need to get new shocks for the back of this thing, because this 2x4 is not it. Alright, car is up. It's on jack stands in the back over there. So from here, I'm actually gonna loosen up the bolt right here for the diff, just so when I do take this thing off, I don't have to struggle with the diff moving when I take that bolt off. So I will tell you what size that is for the hex, and I'll be right back. Alright, so the 10 fits in here pretty good. I just gave it a good hit with the hammer to get it in there seated nicely so it doesn't strip out. It's a little rusty. Usually these rust out a lot though, but I already broke this once, so this should be easier to break, although Yuki has better tools than I do, so we'll see how it goes. I do have a long handle snap-on. I have no impacts over here, so we'll see how this goes. Alright, I'm a little bit of a weak boy, so I had to use the little jack stand ratchet combo, but it's broken loose now, so let's see if I can turn it. Ooh, she's nice and loose now. That combo always works the best, but I'm gonna just tighten it up here so it doesn't start leaking. So now that that's loose, let's take off part of the exhaust system and take the diff out of there. Actually, I don't even know if you need to take out the exhaust system. Actually, yeah, on mine you do, but I'm gonna have to take the pipes off down to over there, and then we're gonna go ahead and start unscrewing these and take this stuff out. I changed my mind on keeping the fluid in there. We're gonna take some fluid out just so it's gonna be easier for me when I take it out, because there's gonna be less weight in it. So let's drain this out, put the plug back in, and then take off the exhaust. It's honestly crazy how dark this is already. You can see like the metal coming off of there. There's still a lot of metal in this thing. On the actual plug itself, I was looking at this thing, and there's metal still on the bottom here if you can't see that, and just a little coating of it. But apart from that, the fluid looks good. I still have a bunch more bottles of that stuff. I mean, it is thicker fluid, but I think when I first took that fluid out on the diff, it was like probably OEM fluid. I don't think anyone's ever changed the diff fluid out on this thing until I did it a couple months ago. But gonna wait for that to drain out. Gonna go probably go grab a snack and take this exhaust off. One side of the motor dime exhaust tips are off. Just gonna do this side and then the two pipes down over there, so then we have clearance. The crazy thing is though, this thing works really good. It's not even like meant for like anything automotive. It's literally like the thing for like wood to just drill in screws, but it works really good. It's better than having nothing though. This is how cold it is. I just took this side off and there is ice coming out of it, and that's from like all the water that's comes out of the exhaust. That's crazy. But it's not even that cold. It's only like 32. But still, that's another. All right, that's the last piece that we need. We just put this in the back here. right, now let's get to unbolting this diff. So we're gonna unloosen the axle first and get this out of the way on both sides. To basically do this, you're just gonna put it in gear and put the e-brake on, and then you can twist the bolts and then put it out of gear and then put the e-brake down, and then twist the actual tire itself so you can get to the other bolts on the other side, which is up there. And you're gonna keep doing that multiple times until you get all the bolts off, and you're gonna do it on the other side. And this should pull out pretty easy. And after that, then we could move on to the drive shaft over there, and then the diff. We got the supports over there for the diff. I believe it's only 3, but I'm not quite sure, but pretty sure it's this bolt, this 2 up there, and that's pretty much it. That's all that should be holding this thing together. So once you have all your screws taken out, you're gonna basically grab a mallet, you're gonna smack your diff, well, the axle, my bad. That should loosen it up a little bit, and then just kind of rock it back and forth. Mine's got a little bit of rust on it, and it should come right out. It's literally just this little metal lip. So I got a bit of rust buildup. There we go. So that's taken out now. Now we can move on to the drive shaft, and we're just gonna take off these bolts right over there. It's literally just 4. And then after that, we can take off this bolt, then the other 2 over there, and we're gonna put the jack underneath of it and take this thing out. So this is how it's looking right now. We got the bolts on the side over there. Axles are off. I'm just about to take off that supporting bolt. I took off the nut in here. Drive shaft is off. You might have to take off the front muffler and put it to the side and then take up the drive shaft. I don't know if it's gonna give me an issue or not, because the sway bar goes underneath the diff, so that's a little bit of an issue. It'll just be tight getting out. The other thing is just need that other bolt over there. You guys can see that, the other supporting bolt, and this thing should kind of pretty much just fall right out. Before you do drop the diff, just make sure that this front, there's 2 sensors, this one and the other one on the other side. That's for you know, it just senses if you're slipping, if the car is like doing a burnout or something like that. It like stops it from doing that. So it's part of your traction control. So you're gonna want to unscrew that with this bolt right here, that one right there, and take them out of the both sides so you don't rip these sensors out. But for me, since my diff is a little different, I don't know how it is compared to other people, but I have to take the drive shaft out and move that muffler out of the way, because my drive shaft needs to come out so this can slide out. So it kind of sucks a little bit, but it is what it is. Just took the muffler off. Now we're gonna go down there and take off the drive shaft. This is so much harder to do without a lift. What a major downgrade. All right guys, drive shaft is off. So let's see how it's gonna go taking this off. It's a little bit heavy, but I drained the fluid, so it's just probably only like 40 pounds. Diff looks pretty good. Then take off all these bolts on the top, take off the cover, pry it off. Gonna clean it out. I was looking inside of here. That subframe bushing's kind of gone. That needs to be changed out. It's super hard to get out, but gonna, I guess, cut it, chisel it out, do what I gotta do. The ones on here aren't bad, but I prefer the poly ones. So we're gonna get the poly ones. They would arrive, I believe, Wednesday. So hopefully that comes in Wednesday, get that done. This is getting welded on Monday, but I'm gonna show you how to clean this out really fast and how to properly kind of make it all dry for it ready to weld. All right, now with all the bolts out, you're just gonna grab a flathead, grab a mallet, knock around the sides. It's already open a little bit. I put the screwdriver in there. So let me just try not to lose this bolt, see if it screws in. Alright, so just gonna give her a little tap. All the gasket sealer should come out now. And just like that. It's pretty easy to come out. So from here, just dump the rest of the oil in a container. It shouldn't come out if you have it laying flat like this, but just dump the rest of that oil out, and you can grab like carburetor cleaner or something like that and clean this out. But I like to use gasoline and light it on fire because it works the best. Just don't put too much gasoline because it just keeps it stays on fire for way too long. So I'm gonna show you how to do that really fast, but let's go ahead and clean this out with the gasoline and dump this out and start burning it. Using gas to clean this out, it won't clean it out perfectly. Degreaser does a pretty good job, but gas doesn't. So what you're gonna do after switching it around in the diff and switching the diff around, you're gonna go ahead and grab some more gas, but don't put too much in there, because it'll stay on fire for way too long, and it'll be like 30 minutes and it'll still be on fire. So you're gonna grab a little bit of gas, you're gonna dump a little bit of gas in there, you're gonna grab a piece of paper and just drop the piece of paper in there, probably like a smaller piece than this, and just let it like catch on fire and let it do its thing for 10-15 minutes, and it'll just dry up all the oil, and then your diff will be nice and clean. That's what you want it to be nice and clean for it to weld, because you don't want any of the grease in there to mess around with your weld, because then you get a bad weld with it. Alright, so I got my little torch over here, piece of paper, let it catch on fire, and we're literally just gonna dump it on there. So now that your diff is on fire, it's literally just gonna burn like this for a while, and it'll start burning the grease on it. So just give it probably like 10 minutes. If it's still burning, give it a little longer. You can speed this up with a fan if you have a fan nearby, and it'll just burn all the liquid out of there. So I usually like to do this, I do it twice, maybe even 3 times if it's still greasy. For me, I'm probably gonna go with 3 because I'm using thicker fluid than OEM, what they prefer. So go ahead and do that, and I'll come back once this is nice and dry. So just to show you guys, this is what you guys want. So it's been like 5 minutes. So this flat black like appearance that you see right here is what you want, because that's when you know that the oil is starting to dry out. So right over here you can see the shininess on that bolt right there. So you want to make sure that it's all gone, because it's gonna start burning it off. So right here too, it's still shiny on the gear. So but you mainly want it to be matte black in the middle here, because that's where you're gonna be welding. All the stuff around it doesn't really matter. You just want to make sure that it's dry in the middle where the spider gears are. Alright guys, so we're done for today. It's like wicked cold outside. Diff is pretty much done already. Just let it burn and it dries up pretty good. If you guys still have a little bit of grease inside of the actual diff itself, just put a propane torch on there and give it like 1.5 to 2 minutes, and that grease should dry right up, especially in the spider gears, because that's where you're going to be welding most of the time. But apart from that, if you guys enjoy the video and learn something about how to remove your diff or get it prepared for welding, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share the video, and I'll see you guys next time.